All right, let's dive in. Today, we're looking at 10 huge headlines coming out of India. Now, on the surface, they look like they have nothing to do with each other. We're talking natural disasters, big political fights, and some wild tech stories. But we're going to connect the dots and see how they actually tell one single, really fascinating story about a nation on the move. So just think about this for a second. How on earth can devastating floods in the Himalayas, a trade threat from a former U.S. president, and some bizarre lawsuit from a tech giant possibly be related? I know, it sounds crazy, but you'll see how each one is a piece of a much, much bigger puzzle. So, let's start where nature really shows its power, with stories of crisis and, thankfully, rescue. These first few headlines, they really capture the tough side of disasters, but also the incredible way people step up. First up, we're heading to the northern state of Uttarakhand. A massive cloudburst over Darali village led to some absolutely devastating flash floods. As rescue teams rushed in, the initial news was grim, confirming at least 5 people had lost their lives. But honestly, that number was just the very beginning. The real scale of this thing became clear pretty fast, with reports that more than 60 people were still missing across the wider Uttarkashi region, just swept away by landslides and floods. It's a huge ongoing emergency. And crisis struck in a different way this week too. Not from nature, but from industry. Over in Mohali, Punjab, there was a sudden explosion at a plant that fills oxygen cylinders. It left 2 people dead and 3 others injured. It's just a stark reminder that tragedy can come from anywhere. But it wasn't all bad news. Right in the middle of another flash flood, this time on the Kinnar Kailash Yatra pilgrimage route, we got this incredible story of hope. Hundreds of people were stranded, totally cut off. But the Indo-Tibetan Border Police, the ITB, they launched this massive rescue operation. And get this, they brought all 413 pilgrims back to safety. An amazing outcome, and just a testament to their bravery. Okay, so from the forces of nature, let's switch gears and talk about the forces of human power. Our next section is all about politics and power plays, from some really high-stakes international drama to gridlock happening right inside India's parliament. So, on the world stage, an old tension is flaring up again. Former U.S. President Donald Trump just put out this pretty stark warning, talking about the possibility of new tariffs on Indian goods, maybe with just 24 hours' notice. The big question is, why now? Well, it seems the trigger is India's energy policy. Reports are linking this threat directly to the country's decision to keep buying Russian oil. It basically puts India's independent foreign policy right in the crosshairs of some serious international economic pressure. And while all that pressure is coming from the outside, there's a different kind of fight happening at home. The parliament's monsoon session has completely hit a wall. It's what's called a parliamentary deadlock. Basically, it's when the political arguments get so intense that the actual job of making laws just stops. So what's causing all this? Well, it boils down to the opposition, who are demanding a debate on this really controversial revision of voter rolls in the state of Bihar. And their protests over this one single issue have been enough to grind the entire parliament to a halt. And the political friction isn't just in parliament. Over in the courts, a long-running defamation case just got a pretty big update. Congress leader Rahul Gandhi was granted bail. Now, this case goes all the way back to some comments he made about Amit Shah in 2018, which just goes to show how old political fights are still playing out today. All right, let's shift gears from all that political friction and talk about some actual national progress. This next section, Science and the State, is all about the breakthroughs in technology and infrastructure that are really shaping India's future. Now, here's a headline that is just awesome. India successfully launched a new Earth observation satellite. But the big story here isn't just the launch itself. This thing was a huge joint mission, a true collaboration between India's ISRO and America's NASA. So while you have political tensions on one side, you have this incredible scientific partnership literally reaching for the stars on the other. Back here on Earth, there was a major infrastructure milestone. The Prime Minister inaugurated Kartavya Bhavan, which is the very first Secretariat building in that huge, ambitious Central Vista project. And this is a seriously high-tech building. We're talking ID-based secure entry, full camera surveillance. It's designed to be the modern nerve center for the government.
But innovation isn't just coming from these massive government projects. Down in Kerala, an engineer has developed this remarkable little piece of AI. It's a device that can take your spoken words and turn them directly into handwritten text. It's a super cool invention that's already getting a lot of buzz online, which shows you that great ideas are happening at every level.
And for our final story, we're going to move from science and politics to a corporate fight that is, well, let's just say it's a little fruity. It's a story about one of the most famous names on the planet.
I mean, this is a classic David and Goliath story for our times. On one side, you have Apple Inc., the multi-trillion-dollar tech giant that makes the iPhone. And on the other side, you have Apple Cinemas, a regional movie theater chain. The lawsuit is exactly what it sounds like. The biggest company in the world is suing a movie theater for using the name Apple. You can't make this stuff up.
So, let's go back to that first question. How do all these things connect? Well, maybe it's not a straight line, but a snapshot of a single moment in time. All these stories, together, they paint a picture of a nation that's dealing with everything at once: nature, global politics, its own internal arguments, and its own identity. It kind of leaves you with one last thought. Which of these headlines, the tragedy, the breakthrough, the silly lawsuit, which ones will fade away, and which ones will be the stories that end up defining this moment years from now? Thanks for tuning in.